So for everybody that doesn't have a clue what we're talking about, we're talking about yesterday's video from Asmongold, where he claimed that Final Fantasy XIV actually bat WoW in the numbers, and that's definitely not true. So let's shortly hop into the video and the spot where I'm talking about right now.
Final Fantasy XIV. Is it which one? It's this one here, right? Dude, Final Fantasy is popular. Holy shit. Dude, Final Fantasy is massive. People fucking love it. Oh my god. Wait. Dude, look at the Russians. Oh my god. Dude, Russians love classic WoW and they hate Final Fantasy. But over here in the American countries, like, you know, America, Canada, fucking Australia, and even Brazil is full of a bunch of fucking weebs. I never expected that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, Valheim? Yeah, sure. Let me check Valheim. I'll get rid of Ashes of Creation, Valheim.
So I think now the problem is that he's comparing first World of Warcraft Classic, World of Warcraft Burning Crusade, Shadowlands. All of these are expansions. These are expansions, and he's comparing them to the whole cycle of Final Fantasy XIV, and that's the problem. That's definitely the problem. You can't compete that because the numbers are definitely in favor of Final Fantasy XIV, and even if the peak of let's go back, the peak of Shadowlands is higher, it's not in a real comparison. No way. I think he's just doing this very, very spontaneously, and the editor of his channel has put this into the title because that's definitely a very aggressive title, very baiting title, so it works indeed. So yeah, of course. I guess that's the case. And now let's do this in our own research and correct this a bit, because it's definitely not fair. It's not fair to World of Warcraft, and like I said, I don't want to give these feathers of beauty, these feathers of success to Final Fantasy when it's not actually earned. Yeah, it has to be earned, and I think Final Fantasy XIV is very close to earning it. So yeah, that's the case. But if you compare this with World of Warcraft, you can't have World of Warcraft as the video game, which is bad for comparing it, because I don't know how Google is translating online game and video game. It could be a different category, and that's bad because we can't compare different categories. That's always a bad thing. But here you can see that this comes way closer to what is the real comparison value. This is definitely what I feel from the popularity aspect of WoW is what's happening. We can compare that if we go from 2004 to present, for example, and that makes definitely sense. That looks super truly like the curve of WoW's expansion setup, of WoW's development. That's definitely the case. Here we go into the beta or something. And that's when WoW launched in end of 2004 and early 2005, and here we have all the high peaks on this should be Burning Crusade, maybe? Yeah, and here we have Lich King coming up. That's definitely more the natural curve of WoW. And this definitely shows Final Fantasy XIV hasn't beaten WoW in any case. Nowhere close. Except here. What could this be? Maybe Shadowbringers, right? So let's take a closer look at this one. I really like this curve here. I hope. I would not tell that this is fact, because that's not the whole same category. We can't be sure about that. We can safely assume that this is the same category, but I assume that at this point in history, on this chart, Final Fantasy XIV came very, very close to WoW in this exact spot here, in this very small percentage of time. This is when Shadowbringers had been released, and I think it can get there with Endwalker maybe. I hope it would. And here we also have very high peak, by the way. That's Stormblood, right? That looks good. That looks good as well. But yeah, overall, you can see Final Fantasy XIV is nowhere close to beat World of Warcraft totally. Like, it came through in Asmongold's video, for example. But it's definitely not so far behind. I guess it's on a good way of getting close to it. And if Blizzard continues with doing the bad policies and bad trading behaviors and not pushing out content when it's due, it will end up in the way that Asmongold pretends it would. That's my correction. I hope that this helps. And of course, this is also just WoW, the base game. You can also go into another direction. We can go for Shadowlands, for example. Shadowlands. Not the search. Never go for the search term because that's definitely not the same category. And compare this, because that alone is definitely not in any good comparison here. But if you compare that to Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, for example. Oh yeah, that's a better song. This, for example, shows that even the Shadowlands expansion is kind of more successful than Shadowbringers. But what I read out of this is that Final Fantasy XIV is much more categorized into the base form of the game, while WoW is more distributed among their own, the single entry. So it's more like the classical WoW versus Shadowlands WoW, because they actually need this info by themselves to contribute what is, or to check what is their success in classic WoW versus their success in Shadowlands. I guess that's actually Blizzard that needs this info for themselves to develop further. So, I don't know. You would really be concerned about 14 being overhyped. Imagine the crowd. Oh my god. Yeah, of course. I know. But a little form of hype is not bad for any game. If it's not too overhyped and people are again disappointed by the result they're getting apart or in opposition to the hype. That's always a bad thing. I don't know, guys. For those of you that have their experience and knowledge about WoW's development process, I think this looks super like the curve that could be the case. But I know, the categories are super weird. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just want to correct that Asmongold had a wrong statement there. Final Fantasy XIV is not beaten World of Warcraft in any point in time yet, but it's possible. And I'm hoping for that this will happen anywhere in the future, and I would love to see the honest work of Yoshi-P and his team rise into Final Fantasy XIV and into the whole world, and that the acknowledgement of this awesome and wonderful game is being pushed out even more. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I hope we could clarify the mistake that happened to Asmongold. I think this is the best way we can describe it, because he did not actively do a mistake. It's just that happened something wrong in the data stuff from Google, and he was not aware of the fact that it went wrong. So I hope we could clarify that today, and to grow this community that's always super nice, and hopefully we can expand this community to prove Asmongold right, to prove him right that Final Fantasy XIV bet WoW when WoW is sticking to their old schemes and they don't change their path and don't change their market behavior. I think Final Fantasy XIV deserves to beat WoW in the future. Thank you all. Stay healthy, stay safe, enjoy World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy or whatever passion you have in your life. Enjoy it as best as possible, and don't ever let anybody distract you from doing so. Until next time, stay safe and take care.